Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We're two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and our love for our local knitting communities. And we do it all with just a little twist of both the frivolous and the frugal.
As we frolic in our fibers. We had to get the word frolic in there. It's just one of those words. You just love to say it. Frolic. Anyway, we would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our returning viewers.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming back, and we appreciate you sharing your viewing time with us and making those wonderful and interactive comments on both Ravelry and YouTube. So thanks for doing that. We especially like your suggestions. And a very heartfelt welcome to the newest of our viewers. We're hoping that you'll take a nugget or two from our experiences and join in us as we share our love, as Dawn said, for the fibers, but also the knitting community.
Oh,
what
absolutely.
a blessing you are to us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and have you grab your knitting, pick up your best note-taking device, a sense of humor, and let's get started with episode 9. It's okay.
Okay, hello. There's somebody behind you. Do you want to introduce your little guest in the background?
So I'd like to give a little bit of introduction for Pearl. She loves to join us. She was a bit slighted a few episodes ago when she wasn't invited. So we have once again introduced her to the podcast. Today she is sporting the shawl, the Empress shawl. It was designed by May Robertson, and she actually is one of the girls who attends our local yarn shop, which Dawn is going to talk about a little bit later. That yarn shop was Yarn Craven, and we knit this as part of our summer camp project, which was a wonderful summer full of projects that we did. And it's knit in Mirasol Umina, very soft baby alpaca, fine merino. And so she's sporting it. And by the way, she's thinking, so what's on your needles? Dawn.
Why, thank you, Pearl. We are talking to an inanimate object. Okay. Family therapy will commence as soon as the podcast is done. How about if we talk about what's on our neck first? Would that be okay?
Oh, please. Absolutely.
So I am wearing Emiliana. It is a pattern by Lisa. I think is it Hannes? Hannes, and the yarn I bought is from Yarn Carnival. It's their high wire 3-ply, and I purchased it at the Ann Budd Knit for Fun retreat. And I'm going to guess that's going on what? 2 years?
Ooh. Oh, yes.
Or 3 years? I just love this geometric design. And the more I knit, I love high contrast. Mm-hmm. And so that tends to be what my eye goes for. So what's around your neck?
This is the first time I'm sporting this finished object. This is the Ivy Over the Wall shawl, designed by Helen Stewart. Very long. I think it's 90 some inches. I just have never worn it before, and I really like it. Knit out of Cascade. What is it called? I gotta look. What's that?
Is it Heritage Silk?
Yes.
Is it Heritage Silk? Yeah.
Heritage Silk. Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah. So very affordable and fun to knit. Very soft, nice to the touch.
I am a sucker for silk.
I know you are.
It just adds that little bit of drape, and Cascade is at a great price point.
I agree.
If you're looking for a little bit of drape and you want to make it cost effective. Totally. So let me show you what I finished.
Oh, I cannot wait to see this.
Okay, this is Storm. By Joji Locatelli. And you really, once it blocked, can see those eyelet rows as well as see those drop stitches.
Oh.
And I sadly report I lost at Yarn Chicken. What? So the pattern says, and it's a paid for pattern, but you're supposed to leave 10 yards at the end to do the picot bind off. Right. And so I'm sitting there watching TV. Okay, here's a pun. Ready? Knitting up a storm. Yeah, how's that? Okay. All right, my brilliance is done for the day. And I never paid attention. So when I ended a row, I just looked to see how much I had left, and there was only 8 yards. So I marked half of it off, started the picot edge to see if I would just happen to have enough. And I was already at half of that. I was only a third of the way across. So I just pulled it out and just did a simple bind off. It's a stretchy bind off, but
There's no way you could have fudged it, Dawn?
well, I wanted to use as much yarn as I could, which is not like me at all, by the way.
No.
But yeah, I really liked it. And the picot bind off is a little tougher to block too, I think.
Yes.
I love the look of it, but anyway, it was nice. It's one skein. I use Suburban Stitcher in the Rorschach colorway, and I blocked it. It's 2 feet deep, 5 feet long. So for me, I sure like shawls a little bit bigger, but for a one skein, I think, and there's several ladies at the knit shop that are doing this with just a nice skein of yarn that you have. So again, if you have one skein, don't know what to do with it, and you need like a light summer shawl, I think this is a spectacular choice. So again, it's Storm by Joji Locatelli.
I think that's a great idea for a summer shawl, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingering weight, so it's light.
Light colored.
Yes, I like it. Well, actually, what's off my needles? I have to say, I'm just stretching things a little bit.
Look at you.
Yes, I did Dog in a Doghouse, which is a stuffy. My granddaughter picked it out. This pattern comes from Susan B. Anderson's book Topsy Turvy Inside Out Stuffies. So Dog in a Doghouse is literally knit as one piece. You stuff the doghouse either up into the dog, and by the way, he has a spot and a tail, or you can just look at his doghouse.
That's cute too, isn't it?
Isn't it? But you can see that my embroidery skills on knitting has much improvement that needs to take place. So, but that's exactly what my granddaughter picked. And of course, if your dinky darling grandchildren want it, you do whatever it takes to learn how to do it.
And like anything else, you do it 100 times and you're going to get better every time.
Absolutely.
So, I know that's a big learning curve, but I think I've found very few things where that's not the case.
Learning takes time, and it's messy.
Very
Absolutely.
messy. And remember, you only need to be smarter than a piece of string. How's that for wisdom? All right, stop the podcast. We've had way too much fun. Okay, I have a little, what's the word I want to say? We heard our brothers watched our podcast.
It's true.
Unbelievable.
Said it out loud.
All right, so.
Well, one actually subscribed. Say it isn't so. I think we're just going to have, what do you call them now? A binge over our 4th of July reunion. Oh, it will be mandatory fun time. Absolutely. Oh, yes, yes. We're going to make them sit through it, and then we're going to have a quiz afterwards.
Stop the madness. Okay. I think the pandemic has kind of started getting to us. All right. Here is Perhaps by Melanie Berg. And I would say that this is like my perfect recipe. It's a crescent shawl, which is my favorite shape. I love high contrast. I love that pink pop of lace. I just think it's amazing. And it ends with that lace too.
Ooh, I really like that bottom border.
And I just absolutely adore Melanie Berg anyway. And this is alpaca, kind of like what Pearl's wearing. This is blue sky alpaca silk. And so the drape is amazing. But again, I love the stripes. I love the lace. I love crescent.
And you can sport all those colors very nicely. They work well with your complexion.
Well, thank you. I don't know. I tend to, again, everything I'm doing right now is high contrast again. And I don't know. And of course, I've got this thing for Melanie Berg's shawls and would love to knit more, and I will knit more, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so that is nice. A little warm because it's alpaca. But then again, we had a little bit of snow this week. It didn't stick, but we're bound to get warm soon, I hope.
Well, we broke a 135-year-old record for lows in April.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was cold here too. In fact, I had to scrape snow off my beehives to put my new queens in.
There you go. Yeah.
April.
So,
Yeah. So
oh,
it's good.
it'll get better. It's
Yes.
bound to.
Right. Now I have something else off my needles. It's not completely done yet, but I am knitting those monthly hats. Have you seen
Oh,
those patterns?
yeah, for
This,
each.
yes. This is the January hat, and it is by Courtney Kelley. Real fun little baubles. And I know some people don't really care for baubles, but they were fun. I enjoyed those. It is knit in Plymouth Encore because it is washable. And these are my gift items at Christmas for extended family and friends and people like that. The one thing I have to do yet, and may I just take a moment to pat myself on the back?
Why, yes, you can.
I successfully made a pom-pom.
Get out.
Oh, I did. And for those of you that don't know all of my limitations and deficits, pom-poms have been, I don't know, intimidating for me. And so I called Dawn one day and I said, so how do you use this clover thing? And she goes, Penny, you just wrap it around. No, I want to know how to do it. She goes, you wrap it around. So I wrapped it around. She said, get as much yarn on there as you
Yep.
can. And I did. And so then our niece said during one of our knitting with the aunties evenings, she said, are you going to attach it with a button? Well, why, yes, I am. So, so I'm going to block the hat and then feed these strings through the top of the hat, then attach the button and tie a bow so that you have a removable pom-pom.
That's a good idea. And with those clover pom-pom makers,
Yes.
did you have to trim it?
I did. It's
I
kind of
have
like
a hard time with it because my pom-pom keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Well, do you find that it looks fine on one side and then you
Yep.
turn it around and you go, what did you just do to this thing?
I know. And then you shake it, so anyway, yes. And if one pom-pom is good, remember two may be better. So but I'm thinking with the bobbles on that hat, one will be great. And that way too, if people don't want the pom-pom, take it off. Or if you're gonna wash it, take it off. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not so sure my boys are going to appreciate the pom-poms I put on their hats.
I use those fur pom-poms, so they really aren't.
I think I just might do that. So that when they open up their Christmas gifts, they think their mother's going,
fur pom-pom. And was that hat for Christmas 2020?
Hey. I'm thinking ahead this year. I'm using all the ones I finished for 2019 and didn't give.
At least you didn't say 2017 or something like that.
It missed 2 years. I did. Oh my goodness.
Stop committing.
I know. I might have a problem with that. Just saying. Okay. Hey.
Right.
So now that we've discussed my inability to commit to due dates, would you tell me what's on your needles?
Yes. I'm going to cast on today because
What?
today is local yarn shop day.
Okay.
And it's been canceled. It used to be gatherings at local yarn shops, but it's been, if I understand right, the history behind it is to support your local yarn shop. So the designer Casapinka every year will promote a pattern that you get for free if your yarn shop participates and if you buy the 2 skeins of yarn for the shawl at the yarn shop. And she really asked this year to do that to support these yarn shops that you can imagine with the pandemic, their sales. I don't know if the sales are down, but my gut would tell me. Yeah. So Magpie's Cottage in Sheboygan Falls, which is one of my local yarn shops, put together these kits. And so we'll see how true that shows to color. So the Heritage is a really pretty purple, and that's Heritage Sock. And the Speckle is by Happy Feet, and its color is called Purple Brown. And so the pattern is available today, I believe.
Okay.
And when you buy the 2 skeins of yarn at your local yarn shop, they give you a code. And it is called Breathe and Hope. It is a asymmetrical 2 skein shawl. And if you didn't buy your yarn but would like the pattern, I believe it goes on sale maybe in about a week.
Oh.
So if you get your code,
Okay.
use it right away so that you can get the free pattern. I believe it's a $6 pattern. But thank you to Casapinka, of course, for promoting it. And what a great thing, again, to support your local yarn shops right now. So I have your kit, Penny. I'll put it in the mail, but do you want me to?
Oh, please.
Let me
Oh,
see.
and by the way, you know what I just realized, Dawn?
What's that?
I believe the color of your Casapinka shawl is the same Heritage Sock color.
I think you're right. You're absolutely
I
right.
think it is.
Wow. Now, Penny's is black.
Sisters. Okay, go ahead.
And then this is called Blue Oreo. And that is showing true to color. You will love that pop of blue.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So I will text you that code later today, though, so that you can get it redeemed. And then I'll stick these in the mail sometime before 2022.
Hey, don't rush. I probably won't get to it until the Christmas of 2024.
Now, did I need one more shawl on my needles? No. But as to what I'm working on, I pulled out my UFO.
Oh.
And this is a shawl I started last year. It is called Dotted Rays. And it is by Stephen West. And it was my first Stephen West.
Dawn.
So you can see where the colors are the rays. And again, look at, I picked bright, sassy colors.
Imagine that.
So the bright pink and the speckly pink is from a local indie dyer here called Wild Rose. They did not have colorways on them, but she did a trunk show and at Magpies, and it just looked great. And then this black and white speckle, and then the black is from Black Fiber Arts. They're indie dyers out of Milwaukee, and I think I bought that either at ZK or Stitches Midwest. But
I've not heard of them before.
Yeah. So I'm on white now, and I have to do one more pink speckled and one more bright pink, and then the shawl is done. Now, this is the one I was going to frog because I goofed up this end down here. And when I met Stephen West, I showed him to see if he had any suggestions. And of course, he said, just leave it. If they're that close and can see that, they're too close to you. But I goofed up this line here, which is kind of hard to see. There, you can see it a little bit better. And your eye just went right to it.
So, your eye or any eye?
Well, because it's that bright contrast area, your eye goes to it. So I fixed it. I just had to tink back, I don't know, 20, 30 rows. Maybe not that many, maybe 20. And I'm much happier with it. So I'm going to use this as my May unfinished object and see if I can't get it finished by the end of May.
And I think you just said it's okay to tink back and correct an error. Because if you can't live with it now, you're not going to be able to live with it in 20 rows, right?
And, you know, I think we should come up with all these pearls of wisdom for knitting, but that's a big one for me. If you don't like it now, you're not going to like it 20 rows from now. And also, if it's bugging me, it doesn't matter what everybody else says. I realize it's bugging me, and I'll think of it every time I go to wear it and may choose not to wear it because of that. Absolutely. And that's not why we're knitting. So what time, all it is a little bit of time to tink back, and I want to end up with a project that I like, and boy, do I have a lot of ends I'm going to have to weave in. So my love for Stephen West continues.
Well, of course, and you do have a thing for many designers, and
I do.
At that.
So that fear of missing out returns. So that's what FOMO means, if we didn't clarify that last week.
Right. Well, and if I didn't clarify this last week, it's okay to struggle through something and keep working until you learn how to do it.
Right.
So I started Stuffy number 2. And although you may not be able to see what this is, it's an Izzy doll. It's
That's what it looks like when
yes.
you're knitting it?
So when you start knitting it, and I just noticed I have an error on the back. I'll have to cover it up with something. But when you knit it, it's all in one piece, and then you go back and seam it. So that's how you can put in the little shoes at the bottom. There's the fun part of her shoes right there.
Okay. Oh, like the buckle?
Mm-hmm. And so this is the color of my granddaughter's hair. So that's why I use that color yard. Again, it's just the Baracco vintage, the same yarn I used for the doghouse. And I'm going to finish this. I don't mind knitting on double points, but for me, I don't know, for some reason this is just something new. So I'm going to keep plugging away until I learn how to do this well.
She has some free patterns out there.
Did you see her newest ones, the Farmyard Friends?
No.
It's for pay. It's a pay for pattern, but it's a collection of I can't remember the name of them, but there's pigs and there's chickens and there's a farmer who is just beyond cute. And so I think I might get those and do them. They've got the nurses with the surgical mask.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
She is brilliant, just
Yes.
brilliant. And if you need to know her name is, just a minute, I am going to read it for you because I want to make sure I pronounce her name correctly. And it is not on my notes, but I think her last name is Esther Braithwaite.
Okay.
I think that's her name. So she goes by Esther Joy. That's her Ravelry name. So
okay.
Please, yeah.
Well, and then that and all of our projects are always on our project page on Ravelry. And then Penny does the show notes in the bar below where you're looking now, as well as they're all on our group tab or in our Ravelry group, which you can find by clicking on the group tab. So yeah, very good.
Anything else on your needles?
No, but look what came when we got the yarn. Miss Joanne just sent that. Is that not the totally cute? What a nice project bag. That was very gracious.
Miss Joanne from Magpie Cottage, and I believe she has an online store, right, Dawn?
And it's magpiescottage.net, and I'll try to include that too.
Yes.
But I saw her that she was working on ones that have little pigs, and she did some with cats. Oh, she's brilliant. So
she is.
Yep, that was very gracious. So.
I do have one more thing on my needles. Do you have anything else?
Oh, I do. I started and tore out and restarted Goldfish Memory, again by Casapinka.
You know what? Would you give us a backstory on that? Tell us why
I will.
you stopped.
So,
again.
Here's the first time I started it. And I think I might have been working on it last week. So it's color choice. So I don't know. To me, this looked very candy-like. I don't know why I thought of Candyland or Juvenile, but I don't know. And I love bright colors. I just didn't think those yarns played well together. The pattern's okay, but when I added that speckle and then it went back to that bright pink, I thought the yarns started fighting with each other.
Ooh.
So I don't know. I'd love to know what people do. I think the pattern has to either showcase the yarn or showcase the texture. And when those two fight, my eye instantly goes to that. And I thought these were color fighting, if that's such a term.
I like it. Let's coin that because I think it's true. The colors were fighting and trying to establish some dominance, and it's too much for the brain to try.
It is. Now, I'm going to use these colors, I think, the speckled and the pink, to do a hat where you hold two together and then add some mohair. So I'm going to keep that in case I need it. So then I like those green and yellow colors. So I started this. And this is another pattern by Casapinka, olive pink.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
Again,
like it.
I love the yarn, but the pattern and the yarn fight.
You
So
think on that one?
I do, and here's why.
Okay, tell me.
I love this blue and white striped area, but if I pull it out, I really like that pattern.
Oh,
Of
I do
course, I'm a
too.
sucker for stripes,
Right.
but it goes right next to another busy pattern. And I just think your eye doesn't know what to do with that.
Huh.
I love the eyelets, of course. And
Absolutely.
then I had a hard time with this pattern, so you'll see there's some, I lost the pattern for a little bit. So what I decided was I like the pattern,
Okay.
but I like the yarn. So that's why I kind of met in the middle, and I went to Goldfish Memory, and I used the yarn. Now this is yarn from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and indie dyer out of Central Illinois. I think Steve and Andy are the two dyers. And it was just the right match. Now I am twinning this with Math Patty from Rochester for ZK. And look at, oh, Penny, a stitch marker that says right side, RS. That is amazing. And you don't need to write on a bread closure. Huh, wow, brilliant idea. So anyway,
Oh
I'll
my
see how
goodness.
this goes. I've just started, and it's 70 or 80 inches long. So, and I'm going to keep that other just in case I need the yarn. So if I get toward the
Well, of
end,
course, you could probably make 3 things out of all that
yeah,
yarn.
right, tightwad. Okay, yeah, and I did just give this a soft block this morning because these stitches here, and I'm not sure if there's a name for those ridges, looked a lot better after you blocked them out.
They are very pretty. I like them.
Yeah.
I like them.
Do you see the error? You can
I
see it.
do. I just noticed it. It's a horizontal one.
Right
Could you
there.
duplicate stitch over it?
You know, I may be able to duplicate stitch over it.
That'd be a quick way to cover that up. Although I'm not so sure once you're wearing it, anyone would notice it. And again, if they do, they're probably looking at it far too closely.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
so
not, yeah. I say right now I'm not going to rip that back, but it was pretty obvious on screen. Thank you for not saying anything. Uh-huh.
and so are my goat hairs. So if we're talking about what's obvious on screen. Hey,
Okay.
the reason I said that is because the other thing on my needles is my scrappy granny
Oh,
stripe
look at that.
Emily. And I literally am doing 1 row every day and I'm up to date.
Fantastic. So you started the first of the year. When did you start?
I did. Where did I start? I
No.
started down here.
Oh, that is long. Wow.
Yes. This is just, yeah. Well, wait a minute. I'm left-handed, so I can't tell top from bottom.
What does that have to do with being left-handed?
I don't have a clue. It's the first thing that came to my mind. Oh my goodness. Just like when I agreed to do things. Well, of course I will. Anyway, that is yarn from a deep, deep stash. So I've been saving yarn specifically and intentionally since 2000, bits and bobs.
Wow.
That deep.
And that's worsted?
Yeah. It is all worsted. It's all, well, I don't know if it's all washable, but it will be when it's done. I'm going to try to do it until it can at least, I don't know, cover half of our county, and then I'll probably cast off and try something else. Or half of the backyard. Let's just say that. Because
that would be lovely.
There you go.
As an awning this summer. Oh, please come to our house. Yes, we're the only one with a knitted awning or crocheted.
Well, you posted that post on Facebook about the woman who was knitting fence panels.
Yeah, did you see that with wire? That was amazing.
I don't believe I've ever seen anyone with a granny stripe knitted blanket for their front lawn. Or a car covering or an awning. It could be a shawl for the shed.
And this concludes our podcast forever. They're like, those girls have lost it.
For obvious reasons, right? Oh
now,
my goodness.
What was the last thing? The socks?
The last thing, what?
On our agenda, because I don't have it.
Yeah, it was. But can I pause for just a minute
since
we're talking about local yarn shops? I have a couple of shout outs.
Absolutely.
And I know you mentioned Miss Joanne. If you go on Ravelry, I have a friend who goes by, her Ravelry name is Carol Russell, CarolRussell, brought me a sweet gift this week. These are stitch markers from twiceshearedsheep.com. I don't know much about their business, but they're in the shape of a honeycomb.
Get out of here.
No, it's for real. And I'm telling you, there are 3 different sizes. She just gave it to Mike and had him bring it home. And so I thought maybe, Dawn, just for a bit of surprise, you know nothing about this. On Ravelry, my username is the Apron Lady. So today I am wearing a honeybee apron. For those of you who don't know, my husband and I are beekeepers. And so I'm wearing my honeybee apron, complimentary to the
How about
isn't that
that?
cute? And this is a fun apron. It's got a nice big pocket on the front and a flared skirt.
Oh,
So yeah.
wow. And do I see that maybe your husband has photo bombed us?
Yeah,
Do I
he has.
see a honeybee maybe somewhere in the
Well,
background?
there might be, because
So,
everything in our house is sweet and all about honeybees. So yeah, I have a hunch that our bee will show up.
oh,
Just saying.
along with Pearl from time to time.
Well, of course,
So
absolutely.
I spy the honeybee. So because it's yarn shop, local yarn shop day, let's shout out to our other local yarn shops. So I'm in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area. So I go to Silver Thimble in Green Bay. Nan is the owner. And again, I don't know what it is about the knitting community. We're Zooming now because we can't meet face to face, but I love to be around people who love the fiber arts. And it doesn't matter
Absolutely.
to me if it's knitting, crocheting, quilting, just to be with people who like to create. Again,
Absolutely.
I think if we can support those businesses during this time of social distancing and all the other requirements of not getting together, it's just important that we support them. So maybe we'll include some of that in our show notes today, our local yarn shops.
Yeah,
And
because you're in a haven. You have oodles right around you.
yeah, we're pretty fortunate, we do. And they become family.
Hmm.
So you want to help
Well,
them
I
and
only have one yarn shop in my area that I frequent, and it is called Behind the Pines. And I am in the Toledo, Ohio area, and it is in a small town called Pemberville. Miss Bobby is the store owner, and I regretfully say it's been months since I've been in there because of the twists and turns that have taken place in our life. But those ladies are like family. And so I appreciate Miss Bobby opening up and trying to help the community of knitters stay together and do drive-by pickups and
yeah,
things like
I
that.
know. Curbside delivery. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good. All right. I would assume we're getting close to our time. I wonder if when we meet next time, maybe you're a year older.
Uh,
Today is
it might have.
somebody's birthday,
Well, that
and
is.
I made you a virtual cake. So pretend to be eating a virtual cake with virtual ice cream.
Well, okay, so it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm wearing my bee apron, but
Yeah.
I got to show you what my dear sister bought me for my birthday. So here's the last shout out for today's podcast. This comes from JD Studios 40 or 480 or 480. I don't know how she pronounces it. Is this called like an accessory bag?
It is an accessory bag. Yep. Or
Okay.
notions bag.
Notions bag, thank you. And a project bag. And give a little background on this Etsy shop, would you, Dawn?
So some of the girls ordered some that were football shaped from that Etsy store, and they were absolutely adorable. So of course, again, it's that text message. Hey, look what I just got. So I have to stop what I'm doing, go to that Etsy shop. She was delightful to work with, responded immediately, sent in a timely manner, reasonably priced. Again, I just want to support those businesses. So happy birthday, my dear sister.
Well, thank you,
And
sis.
I would sing to you, but
Oh,
you
please
know,
do, because you know that is a tradition. Oh,
Penny,
yes.
Penny calls all of us on our birthday and sings to us, but no, I'm not going to sing.
In the meantime, speaking of casting off, it's about that time.
Okay.
So would you share with our listeners how they can get in touch with us?
So the Frivolous and Frugal podcast is on your typical social medias. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, and Ravelry. We'll include all of the specifics to those in our links down below or on the Ravelry page. Penny and I also have Gmail accounts, but one would have to tell us how to check those. So maybe that would be a good goal next week to try to check those. And again, thank you for your comments and your suggestions. We love them. We get the biggest bang really out of thinking that our brothers who know nothing about knitting watch this. And then, shout out to our sister Nicky. She's not a knitter, but she has these detailed analytics about what day the video went live, what time of the day, how many people watch it per day. Then she tells us if we haven't commented back to people in a timely manner. And so I think that is just as important as sitting here. We keep telling her she needs to do a cameo appearance, and she's pretty adamant against it right now. But I think someday we'll get her. And
You need to meet her. She's great.
yeah, she keeps us on the straight and narrow and keeps us laughing. So, and again, another priceless thing about the pandemic, we're doing sister and auntie knitting time together.
Yes.
So that time is priceless as well.
And just one more shout out. We had Nicky's best friend, Miss Donna, join us last night.
That was so nice.
Sweet. Yeah, it was good.
That was nice. So
and one of these days we'll get our other niece to join us. So it'll be a wonderful time.
It will be. So passing on the love. All right. Well, and this is your tagline. You better say it.
Oh, thank you. In fact, you started it. So let me go back. Until we meet again, may your knitting be a precious twist, a special twist of Frivolous and Frugal. Have a great day and happy local yarn shop day.
Very good. Bye-bye. See you soon.